Ahoy hoy fellow bookworms, my name is Caroline and I like to read books, so today's video is going to be my January TBR. I don't want to say that I'm in a reading slump because I'm not, but I definitely feel like I haven't been reading as much as I did in previous months. I kind of feel like I got back from overseas and suddenly it was like straight back into work and Christmas and everything, so I wasn't really making the time to read. The last few days though I've been trying to get back into the habit of reading every night, and I'm about halfway through The Way of Kings Part 1 by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm really enjoying it. There was a lot more information at the start and I found a couple of the time jumps really early on to be a bit jarring, but now I'm into the story. I love the characters, especially Kaladin, so I'm planning on finishing this in the next few days and then picking up Part 2. I definitely want to read these two back to back because I know that if I don't, it will be a few months before I read Part 2 and it'll take me a while to get back into the story and I might not pick up on stuff and it'll just not be as much of a fun reading experience as if I kind of marathon this, and I know that I'm really going to enjoy it because so far the story is super awesome and I just think I'm going to love this. Next up, I would like to read Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I read another book by him called Challenger Deep a few months ago and really loved the writing. It was about mental illness and a young boy who kind of descends into schizophrenic delusions, and the writing was absolutely phenomenal, so if that's any indication of what to expect in this book, then I know I'm going to love it. The story of this book just sounds really awesome. It takes place in a world where there's no more war or disease, so people aren't dying that way, and instead they have reapers or scythes who do some random killing to maintain the population or something like that. We have two main characters who are apprenticing to be the next in this line of work, and I just feel like the book is going to be super exciting and fast-paced at times, but also going to kind of look at morality and the difference between good and bad people, which is something I always really enjoy. Next up, I will be reading Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. I did mention in my resolutions video that I'll be reading one book by Murakami for each month of the year because he's my favorite author and I really want to read all of his books. This is the book of his that I'm really surprised I haven't read yet because I've had it on my shelf for quite a while and it's arguably his most popular work, but for whatever reason I just haven't picked it up until now, but I am super excited to read it. It has a really bizarre story. Basically we have two people from completely different walks of life. We have a 15-year-old runaway and an old man who looks after cats or something like that, and there's all these parallels between the stories, and it is very heavily in the magical realism genre, so there's like talking cats and all this kind of weird but bizarre stuff that I really love about Murakami's writing because he kind of makes it feel like your reality as well, and I just think that's incredibly clever. But I'll probably be reviewing this when I finish it, or I'll be talking about it in my wrap-up. I'm not really sure yet, but I know that this is a lot of people's favorite Murakami book, so I am super excited to read it. The next book on my TBR is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which I am like super crazy excited to read. I feel like I'm really going to love this. So many people have told me it's one of their all-time favorites, that the writing is amazing, that it made them cry, and that has just made me like so super duper keen to read it. I feel like I'm really going to love this, and I'm excited because I don't know a lot about the story. I know it's about a boy whose mother has cancer and there's this monster who visits him to kind of help him deal with it or something like that. See, I probably got that completely wrong because I honestly have no idea what to expect from this book, but I know that it's going to be well written and emotional, and I'm just really looking forward to it. The final book I plan on reading this month is book 12 of The Walking Dead comics by Robert Kirkman. Guys, I fucking love this series. I'm so invested in the characters and the story. It always keeps me guessing. There's all these twists and turns that I don't see coming, but I'm just so hooked on it, and I know that I'm gonna love this one because in the previous book something happened that just completely blew me away, and I can't say anything more about it because, you know, spoilers, but it's just awesome and I know I'm going to love this when I read it. I almost forgot to mention another book just because I've pre-ordered it and it hasn't been released yet, so I don't have it here, but it comes out on January 17th and is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. I know that this book is going to make me cry and I know I'm going to love it because back in 2015 when I read More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, I just completely fell in love with his writing, and the way that he kind of constructs his stories is just really clever, I think. So I'm super excited for this one to be released. I can't wait for it. I'll probably review it when it's here, but if I'm crying too much then I won't be able to. Those are the books that made my January TBR, and I'm super excited because I'm hoping these are going to be amazing books that will get my reading year off to a great start. I upload videos Wednesdays and Saturdays and sometimes Mondays as well, so be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned on those days for more bookish goodness. Toodaloo!